guys? Thanks for checking me out again. This time we've got Lili from Tekken, Emily de Roquefort. So, I know that I said Samus was going to be next, but I didn't get around to doing her just yet. I've got other things, I had other things to do. The links popped up, namely these. For whatever reason, I got bit by the Gundam bug recently, and I seen these two, and I wanted to get them, so I spent time building these, and since my review table is also my model building table now, this was what was taking my time, but at any rate, Samus will be forthcoming, so just wanted to kind of bring people up to speed on that, and we're gonna crack open Lili here and see what's what with Mr. Roquefort. Might as well take a look at the box while we're at it. Pretty standard box, of course. There are no surprises on this one. Pretty much what you would expect to see. Here's the description. I don't know if you can read that, but there we go. And there's, of course, Xiao Yu. Xiao I'm excited for. I like Xiao Yu. I've always kind of liked her since Tekken 3. But Shunya's take on her is great, and the figure looks promising. Anyway, that's the package. Nothing outstanding or different about it. It's pretty straightforward stuff. So let's open it up. Figure, why not just do the size comparison right off the bat. I don't have Alyssa Bosconovich yet. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Maybe I'll pick her up at Comic-Con. That's, I think, my plan at this point. Hopefully they'll have her there. So Lili feels like the biggest. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say she's the biggest of the Tekken Bishoujo characters released so far. A little closer to a true 1/7 scale, but still not quite there. Still a little undersized for 1/7, but definitely bigger than Asuka. You can kind of tell here. You know, this is them right side by side, and she's definitely a lot bigger. But that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. We want to see some girls should be bigger than others. So the Tekken series of the Bishoujo statues in and of themselves so far has been fantastic. I think they've done really well for themselves. A couple of little weird things here and there. I don't know about Lili's costume. I know this is what she's wearing, I guess, in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, but that's not really a very iconic costume for Lili to wear. She usually has that kind of white dress that doesn't expose her kind of her midriff there, but not very far off. This is, it's not entirely different. Not like JC. Julia is a completely different character, basically. Not so much for Lili. But here she is with the other Tekken girls, and she is bigger. A couple things that I've noticed about Lili right off the bat. First of all is this caboose. Kapow. Man, Kotobukiya outdoing Duncan Hines in the cakes department. It's done quite well, I must say. Not only that, but detailed pretty nicely too. One weird thing I noticed, though, I'm going to get right to the meat and potatoes of this, which is her backside. So there's a lot of detail to be had here. They've sculpted her panties pretty well. They've got kind of like some lace on it. You can kind of see the lace in there. But what's weird is that the mold on her legs, I don't know what it is, but it's got this weird kind of delineating line on each leg. You can kind of see it. It almost looks like a polygon crease, like she's that accurate from the Tekken game. Like you can see like a line. It's not visible from all angles, and you'll only catch it at certain points because the plastic is matte and it's been airbrushed. It still has this kind of seam on it, which is really weird. I'm not sure what to make of that. It's a little distracting, but I don't think you'll notice it too much. But I noticed it pretty much right off the bat. As soon as I made this kind of turn, you can kind of see it there. It runs down kind of the middle of her leg. You can see right here kind of where her butt cheek meets the top of her thigh, kind of is more pronounced there. A little weird. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know if that's just I got a figure that does that, or if they're all like that. I'm guessing that I'm probably not alone there, but I don't remember seeing that in any of the pictures of her that were released. Mine's got a little flaw in the back of her right calf. There's kind of a little divot taken out of the plastic there. Not really a big deal, but the paint doesn't really, it's clear. It doesn't really fill in that hole. She's got some legs on her, and I think that goes a long way for me. If they've got thick thighs, I'll forgive a lot. Not a lot to have to forgive on this figure, although I think her hair is kind of the biggie. That's what everybody seems to have been caught up on with this figure. So, as far as the hair goes, it's not great. I wouldn't call it great. I don't like the sculpt. I think the hairdo itself is fine. It's just too big. It's too much hair. It makes her head look like a big old dome. Like she's got a big old bubble dome underneath that hair. The way I look at this is, say that she was shaved bald. If you were to take the hair off her head, how big must that noggin be underneath that head of hair? Too big. So I don't really. I just think it's too tall. I don't mind that it goes around her face the way it does. I just think that it's a little too tall. I think that if it were a little shorter, then that would have been nice. But I don't know. It's not bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's not. I don't really take anything from it. I wouldn't knock her for it. One thing that's kind of weird though is her eyes. And again, this could be mine. This could be every one of them. Hold on. Bear with me here. Let me get my lighting right, so we can get a good look at her eyes. Maybe that's the wrong way to go. Her eyes are a little off. They're not really synced up. One eye's doing one thing, the other eye's doing the other. So there you go. Mine looks a little cockeyed. And not extremely noticeable. I think from certain angles you won't really notice it as much, but it looks like her right eye needs to be a little pointed a little bit more to I guess her left. I don't know. Not really sure what to think of that. I think I might be a little more anal about that than most people. I don't think a lot of people care about that as much as I do. It doesn't seem like Koto does. Because some of them are really good, some of them not so much. But anyhow, moving on. The hair, I gotta say though, is painted really well. It's got this kind of gold sheen to it. It's kind of metallic. It helps it look like hair. It looks like she has got kind of silky looking hair. So the hair, all in all, is done pretty well. I just think the design aspect of it is a little off, but still executed pretty well. I think all the the sculpt's done really well. It's a lot of hair coming off her head, and it's painted really well and sculpted nice. Not really too many seams. There's a little kind of a funky one right here. Where is it? Oops. Can't really see it. It's not that bad. Yeah, I can't even really get it to show up on the video, so nothing to worry about there. But she's got, her costume. Not really readily identifiable for me, but it's done well. I think it looks really good. It's got matte paint on it. Given the sculpt and the paint combination, it kind of goes a long way to making it look like fabric, much more than any of the other Tekken Bishoujo characters. I think I think they did a better job executing the clothes on her. It looks good. A lot of detail too, like I say. You can kind of see, let's see if I can actually get the detail of this, her underwear on her. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. I'll have pictures in the video. Probably actually will have already seen them, to be honest. But you can see in her gloves here, a lot of detail. There are, like, her fingers have kind of like a ribbed, almost like a mitten look to it. Like you can see around her wrist here, but that kind of ribbed texture goes on along each finger. Each finger is painted with about, I don't know, 6 little dots, all done very accurately, very nice. It's odd that they can do that and do that so well, but then, you know, you have a big weird seam on both her legs. Seems like a contradiction. These 2 fingers are kind of stuck together. You can kind of see they're kind of look a little webbed a little bit, but who cares? Not a big deal. It's kind of odd though. I don't think I've ever seen that on a Bishoujo statue yet, having these fingers kind of joined like that. A little weird. Her neckerchief, or whatever you want to call this thing, doesn't really pop as well. It's just a flat paint on it. It's not matte, so it kind of has a shiny effect to it. It doesn't really look like fabric like the rest of her does. But pretty good details on it. It's painted relatively intricately. It's got a kind of a checkerboard pattern on it, and done well. Her pendant on her necklace, sorry, I got all jitteries here. Pendant on her necklace is painted pretty well. Not sure what that's supposed to be, if anything. But that's there. She does have eyebrows, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show them. You can't really see them, not really showing up on the video, but they're there. But they're so far up into the hair that you don't see them, which is kind of unfortunate. I would have preferred to have seen the eyebrows to some degree, because I think that adds a lot of character to the face and a lot of expression when you can see eyebrows. They say that's the difference between dogs and fish, is eyebrows. Dogs can express and emote because they have eyebrows, and fish can't. So that's why we can kill fish with no problem. So I would really like to not kill Lili, and if I could see her eyebrows, that would help me keep her alive. The paint on the rest of her is done pretty well. It's airbrushed in certain places. They do this kind of pre-shading with airbrushing in spots to kind of accentuate the lines of the, I don't know, the tone of her body, I guess. You can see it here in her stomach. Done very well. It's the execution on the airbrushing for the pre-shading on her is pretty impressive. I like it. It's not overdone. Some of them are a little weird. X23 had a kind of a weird paint job when it came to that. Someone else did too. It's escaping me off the top of my head, but not the case here. It's done pretty well. The inside of her elbow. I don't know why we don't have a name for this part of the body, but and the rest of her arm done pretty well. Sculpt gets a little weird back in here, but not too bad. Really, it's where her neck is here. It's a little messy in there, but what are you gonna do? It's actually done pretty well, all in all. I like her stance. I think it's my favorite stance. Well, I don't know. Christie's is pretty hard to beat. Christie's got a pretty cool stance, but I like Lili's here. But she's got some nice kind of meaty thighs. They look like they're supporting her weight. I think I read that in a Tomo Pop review for somebody. They said that it looks like she's supporting herself, and I don't know if that's the Lili review I read, but I understand what they're saying there, and I think that goes a long way. When it looks like she's actually, the muscles in her legs are flexing and things like that, you can kind of see them here. Power Girl has that, As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and compare her to Power Girl real quick, because I got her right here. For size comparison, sorry, bear with me here. There we go. So Power Girl, I got her out because Lili is coming pretty close to the true 1/7 scale like she should be. Like the other Tekken statues are listed as 1/7, but they're not really. And you can tell Lili comes closer than the rest, but she still sizes well with the rest of the Bishoujo line. She doesn't stick out or anything, but kind of odd that she's the biggest so far. I wouldn't have assumed that she's the biggest of the girls released so far, so maybe they're not exactly in scale. But if they were, and they might be for all I know, that'd be cool. There she is with Power Girl. Not quite as big as Power Girl, you can see, but pretty good. And I don't know, I guess that's about it for Lili. I like Lili as a character. I like her fighting style. I just kind of wish that the Bishoujo statue was of her kind of more iconic costume. Not this. This doesn't really remind me of Lili. So it is almost like this isn't really a Lili figure to me in a way, just because I don't recognize her from this. And plus, I only played a little bit of Tekken Tag Tournament too. I'm sure that has a lot more to do with it than anything. But all in all, pretty well made figure. She hasn't come out of her base. I don't think she's going to. Looks like she could come out of her base, but she's plugged in there pretty well. There's no screws in her feet, so I think they could probably pop out. But well, there's some more of her panties if you are interested. They got a lot of detail in them. The most detailed panties so far on any Bishoujo statue. If that's a bullet point they'd put on the box, I'm sure they wouldn't, but I would. Let's not kill ourselves, people. That's what we want to. We all know why we're here. Anyway, thanks for checking me out. So as far as let's see what's next goes, I still got a handful of Bishoujo that I never reviewed. I really, the Max Factory Samus. It's not from Makoto Bukiya. It's not quote unquote Bishoujo, but it's 1/7 scale and its size is very nice with the rest of them. And I do intend to do that one. I just got a lot of stuff on my plate nowadays. Kind of a bad time to be ambitious and review characters or statues that I've already done, because I got a lot of stuff to take care of. I've been also working overtime to save up some money for Comic-Con, which is coming up. And Comic-Con, let's see, Vampy Bit Me cosplayer Linda Lee. She posted something saying that she's going to be appearing as Psylocke at Kotobukiya's booth for a figure's debut or something like that. Basically, more or less, she basically confirmed that we're gonna see at least the character art for, hopefully an actual sculpt, hopefully a painted sculpt. That'd be great, of the new Bishoujo Psylocke, which I'm guessing is going to be the new X-Force version of Psylocke, which is great. That was one of the Bishoujos I really wanted them to do. Again, revisit Psylocke. I don't feel the first one was particularly very good. It's not bad, but I don't know. I really think Psylocke is one of the ones that worth revisiting. So stoked about that. Hopefully we'll see that. I'm gonna try to do maybe some videos from Comic-Con, but I always get really ambitious about this kind of shit, and then when I get into the car and driving down there, you get there and like day one you're already wiped out just from the car ride. At least I am. And then you're just there all day on your feet marching around that place, and it takes a lot out of you. So that ambition to do like podcasts and video reviews and video diaries or any of that stuff goes flying right out the window, because it's just it's too much. But we'll see. That's my intention. If I do it, great. If not, I apologize for not delivering on it. But I think Oh, yeah, well, anyway, Comic-Con, once that comes around, I'll have a lot more stuff about Comic-Con. All the figures and stuff that are going to be there. The G.I. Joe Transformers combo pack, the crossover pack, looks pretty cool. I'm going to be picking up that. The Deadpool taco truck, Deadpool core taco truck that Hasbro's releasing, looks pretty cool. I'll pick that up. Not really into the Marvel Legends set. I don't know who half the characters are, which is really weird because I've been a Marvel fan for a long time. I haven't read the current issues of Thunderbolts, and I guess that's it, but odd that they would release a bunch of figures that I don't recognize in the Marvel Legends wave. It feels really weird that there are Marvel toys being made by Hasbro for characters I don't recognize when there are hundreds of characters that they have yet to do that I would love for them to make figures for. Can we please, by the way, get a Marvel Legends X-Force X-23 Hasbro? Let's get it together here. Let's complete the X-Force set, for crying out loud. Anyway, enough of that. Lili's a good figure. She's got a great butt, awesome legs, thighs, paint's top-notch. Eyes a little wonky. She's got a bubble dome head. It looks like she's wearing a hair helmet, but the hair is painted very well. All in all, good figure. I'd recommend it. Especially at this point, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm getting all the Tekken characters, so Lili's a great addition. So for me, if the Ling Zhao Yu's coming out, that one looks like it's probably going to be my favorite of all the Tekken characters. But Lili, good addition. Just kind of wish they'd use a different costume. So that's it. Thanks for checking me out. Check out my other videos. Leave some comments. I like to engage with you guys. Let me know what you think of Lili if you picked her up. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.